Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. That's it, baby. It's Wednesday. It's wonderful. You're looking wonderful. And it is, of course, the midweek hump. And I am halfway through the week and I'm yet to get the day wrong. Legend. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button because I know you're going to like it. And if you're not going to like it, just hit it anyway. Or else. So we get straight into the meat and potatoes. As what we're talking about in this video is this. Some of you may have seen this, but some of you may have listened to something. Not that. We're going to be talking about that later. What a shit show that was. Officials' access to FBI files in Charlie Kirk case drew pushback. An inquiry by Joe Kent, who leads the National Counter-Terrorism Centre, is said to have alarmed Kash Patel, the FBI director. Now, why would the director of the FBI, Kash Patel, be concerned at any point that Joe Kent is putting his face in this case? Let me know down below what you think. Let's carry on. The head of the National Counter-Terrorism Centre examined FBI files in the last several weeks to investigate whether the man charged with assassinating Charlie Kirk had support from someone else. A foreign power, another entity, according to multiple people with knowledge of the matter. I think it's very clear that this lone gunman scenario just isn't going to wash. Anybody with half a brain cell knows that that's not the case. If you are sitting there believing that that is the case, then give your head a wobble, because it's not, is it? It's not. The inquiry by Joe Kent, the director of the Counterterrorism Centre, alarmed Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. Mr. Patel and other senior officials believed Mr. Kent was overstepping, treading on FBI responsibilities and potentially interfering with the investigation and the prosecution of the suspect, Tyler Robinson. How was that? How could you conclude that that's the case? Joe Kent's job is literally to do what he's doing, yet the FBI seemingly have a problem. We're along these realms again, aren't we? Like we've seen in other cases, the FBI's mentality of, if we're involved in it, we can do what we want, just trust us, bro. This just trust us, bro, just is starting to wear very, very thin now. Supporters of Mr. Kent say he's doing his job, running down leads and making sure no foreign or domestic groups were linked to Mr. Kirk's death. Or what that should say is, Mr. Kent is doing his job. He is investigating who was involved in Charlie Kirk's death, in addition to the person who we're being told is the sole shooter. As again, that just isn't going to wash. Mr. Robinson, 22, is accused of killing Mr. Kirk last month as a conservative activist made an appearance at a college campus in Utah. One of many he would, one student at a time, debate contentious topics. State prosecutors in Utah have charged Mr. Robinson with 7 counts, including felony aggravated murder. The Senate confirmed Mr. Kent as director of the Counterterrorism Center in July. He is one of the closest advisors to Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence, and shares her focus on traditional terrorism groups as well as drug cartels, which he argues are a grave threat to the United States, especially when a lot of what they're doing is being ignored and sometimes assisted by those in power that you feel should really be there to protect you, but they're not. Mr. Patel was troubled that Mr. Kent had gone through FBI material related to the case. According to the people knowledgeable on the matter, Mr. Kent's efforts were a topic at a White House meeting that included Mr. Patel, Mr. Kent, and his direct superior, Ms. Gabbard. Top Justice Department officials, Vice President J.D. Vance and the White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, were also there, according to several of the people who spoke to the New York Times about the matter. The people interviewed by the Times were granted anonymity to speak frankly about internal dynamics in the Trump administration. The FBI and the Justice Department generally keep tight control over evidence in criminal cases, particularly when they are preparing for a trial in which government documents may have to be turned over to the defense and could be used to poke holes in the prosecution's case. While Mr. Robinson is currently facing only state charges, some administration officials were concerned that Mr. Kent's efforts could provide fodder to defence lawyers who could use the notion that more than one person was involved in Mr. Kirk's killing to raise reasonable doubt in the minds of jurors, said those aware of the matter. But my argument here would be, well, if you've got absolute undeniable proof that he is there on the roof and he is indeed the person who pulls the trigger, and that can be proved beyond a reasonable doubt, which is obviously something that we want to be staying in the ballpark of, then the rest kind of is just in addition to that. This is about, why did he do it? Was there somebody else helping him? Could he have done it? And it is about trying to poke holes in. Like, they seem to be concerned that this trial scenario is about challenging what they're saying, when the entire dynamic of the justice system should be to allow people to poke holes in it, and you then raise above it and debunk the things that are thrown at you to the point where we reach this beyond a reasonable doubt. If reasonable doubt exists, then somebody shouldn't lose their life, certainly, or their civil liberties for the rest of their life. It's fucking bizarre to me. It's almost like they're openly saying, well, we've got a story, what we're telling, and we don't want anybody to challenge that story. We just want to go to court and say, right, this is what we're telling you happened. The just trust us bro mentality. And it's bullshit. It's absolute bollocks, isn't it? Yeah, look, could raise reasonable doubt. Well, if reasonable doubt exists, then the person shouldn't be executed, shouldn't be found guilty. Since Mr. Kirk's death, some White House official, it's literally basically saying we want to hide anything that will cause potential reasonable doubt. It's fucking bizarre to me. Absolutely bizarre. Since Mr. Kirk's death, some White House officials have pressed for sweeping federal investigations of liberal groups and donors, and some of the president's allies outside the administration are convinced that the killing is part of a broader plot, despite a lack of evidence that has been presented to support that. What do you mean, a lack of evidence to support that? We literally saw people talking online in the preceding weeks. We've been told about this guy's house, people parking out there to the point where nobody else could fucking park. There was cars everywhere. We've got this bizarre story that shows who they're saying is Tyler Robinson acting like fucking Jason Bourne. You've got pictures that are spud cam pictures. You've got saying that he apparently only took a week to plan this. So how the fuck did he know where Charlie was going to be set up, how he was going to be set up, what was the vantage point from where he was going to shoot, what was the entire situation going to be like, how did he know he was going to be able to hit him from where he was? It's weird, mate. It's weird, all these things that seemingly suggest that there would have had to have been prior knowledge of the internal dynamics of how that day was going to be laid out. Then you've got, don't get me started on the crisis actors all around, from George Zinn to fake cops and other people acting fucking bizarre, one of them which we will be talking about later on today. Anyway, officials involved in the arrest have said they believe Mr. Robinson acted alone. Of course they do. Of course they do, because that's the easiest route to take, isn't it? That's the path of least resistance. Mr. Kent told administration officials that a lower-level FBI official had granted him access to the agency's files, which Mr. Patel was said not to be aware of, according to some of the people interviewed by The Times. In response to questions from The Times, Mr. Patel and Ms. Gabbard released a joint statement that did not address the debate over Mr. Kent's inquiry and sought to portray a unified front. The FBI and intelligence community under the director of President Trump will leave no stone unturned in the investigation of the assassination of our friend Charlie Kirk, they said. But multiple people said tensions over Mr. Kent's work had persisted for some time and were part of a broader set of issues between Ms. Gabbard's office and other administration agencies. The meeting that Mr. Kent attended at the White House was one of two intended to ameliorate tensions between the FBI and Ms. Gabbard's office. The people briefed on the matter said the earlier one, which focused on multiple issues including the killing of Mr. Kirk, was so tense that little was accomplished, they added. In the hours after Mr. Kirk's killing, before Mr. Robinson was identified as the suspect, officials across American intelligence agencies were investigating whether any foreign government was involved in a plot to kill Mr. Kirk. Some officials inside the government raised questions about the assassin's abilities and training after security footage was released of him jumping from a high ledge. Early in the investigation, evidence was collected that contained words often associated with anti-fascist writing, namely in the inscriptions on bullets found in the rifle that killed Mr. Kirk. In the charging document, prosecutors included a text message from Mr. Robinson that claimed the inscriptions were mostly a big internet meme. The Counter-Terrorism Centre gathered material from intelligence agencies about potential foreign ties to Mr. Robinson and has also looked at foreign funding of people who identified with the far-left movement known as Antifa. Mr. Trump has said Mr. Robinson was radicalised by the left though the president has not directly tied him to Antifa. After Mr. Kirk's killer, Mr. Trump said he was designated Antifa as a terrorist organisation. Antifa is a term for a sometimes violent protest culture of far-left activists, but is not an actual organisation. Several critics have questioned what legal criteria the president is using to make such a designation about a diffuse movement with no clear leader. You get the gist, though. It does go on a little bit. But you get the gist there, that we've got the FBI who are leading the charge, and they're telling us that this is lone gunmen. They're going down the route of that. You know, we've heard Kash Patel come out and say, well, what do you think we're going to do? You think we're going to not investigate? We're going to let people get off? Well, sadly, because of historic behaviour, and I'm not even going into the big ones like the Epstein files, we're not even going to go there. We're just going to go about other cases that we've seen where the FBI have had involvement. And it's too much, as aforementioned, this, we will tell you something. We're not going to show you how we got there or show you the proof. You're just going to have to trust us that this is what we're telling you happened, so this is what happened. And in this, it is, like I say, they are basically saying they want to stop other things being pushed that could cause reasonable doubt. Well, you're thinking, well, that's manipulating the entire trial situation. The FBI are openly admitting here to trying to manipulate how the judicial system works. And that is by not allowing someone to do their job, to find a potential link to other things that will then blow this apart, this narrative what the FBI have carved, and they don't want that. So why? Why wouldn't you just be like, no, we know we're right, you do what you've got to do, we appreciate that's your job, you do it. And why would they even feel that, well, if you do find something, let us know? Do you know what I mean? Why would you want it? Let me know down below. Love you all. And later on we'll be talking about Turning Point USA's rebuttal to Candace Owens. What a load of bollocks that is. Love you all. Mwah.